The stranger, the colony of Arvin 3 was a quiet place. A small human settlement on the edge of known space. People lived simple lives there, farming the red soil, repairing old machines, and trading with travelers who sometimes passed through. It was not a place of war or glory. It was not a place where legends were born. Among the workers of the scrapyard lived a man named Kale. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and always covered in dust and grease from broken machines. He spoke little, worked hard, and slept in a small metal hut near the scrapyard fence. To most of the colony, he was just another drifter who had chosen to stay. But Lyra did not think so. Lyra was young, curious, and restless. She often wandered near the scrapyard, pretending to look for spare parts, but in truth, she watched Kale. He moved differently from the others. His steps were too controlled, his eyes too sharp. He seemed to notice everything, even the smallest sound or movement. Strange things also happened when Kale was near. Once, a generator exploded in the colony square, but when Kale touched it, the fire died instantly as if the machine had obeyed him. Another time, wild beasts circled the colony walls at night, but they never entered when Kale was standing guard. Most people laughed and said it was luck. They called him the Quiet Man and forgot about it. But Lyra remembered. She could not stop thinking about it. One evening, when the twin moons rose and painted the sky silver, Lyra saw Kale outside the scrapyard. He was standing on a ridge, alone. His face lifted to the stars. His lips moved slowly, whispering words she did not understand. They sounded heavy, powerful, like an old forgotten language. Lyra hid behind a broken crawler, watching. Her heart beat fast. She thought of stepping closer, but fear held her back. Then for a moment, Kale's eyes glowed faintly like embers. Under ash, it was only for a breath, then gone. But Lyra knew she had seen it. The next morning, Lyra tried to speak with him. She brought a broken scanner to the scrapyard. Hoping he would fix it, Kale looked at the device, then at her. His hands worked quickly, too quickly. The scanner came alive in seconds. Good as new. You're fast, she said softly, trying to sound casual. Kale gave her a brief smile but said nothing. His silence felt like a wall she could not climb. Still, she did not give up. Over the next days, she visited often, bringing small machines for him to repair. He never refused. He always worked in silence, but his movements fascinated her. There was something in him he was trying to hide, and the more he hid, the more she wanted to know. Then came the night of the storm. Dark clouds gathered over Arvin 3. Lightning cut the sky. The colony's shields began to fail. People rushed to secure their homes. Lyra saw Kale standing calmly in the scrapyard, staring at the storm. The shield generator failed with a loud crack. The wind screamed through the colony, tearing at roofs and walls. People shouted in fear, but Kale did not move. He walked straight to the generator. His hand touched the sparking wires. For a moment, the storm seemed to bend around him. The lightning curved away as if avoiding him. The shields came back to life, glowing brighter than ever. When the danger passed, people cheered. They said it was a miracle, but Lyra knew better. She had seen his hand glow faintly as he touched the machine. She had seen the storm bend away, later. That night, Lyra followed him again. Kale walked to the edge of the colony and stood under the stars. His shoulders were heavy, as if carrying a weight no one else could see. Lyra whispered to herself, "Who are you, Kale? You are not just a normal man." Her words vanished into the wind. But Kale turned his head slightly. His sharp eyes scanned the shadows for a moment. She thought he had heard her. Her breath caught in her chest. Then Kale looked back at the stars and whispered again in that strange, forgotten language. The sound of it sent shivers through her. Lyra stepped back quietly. She knew one thing for certain now. Kale was hiding a truth bigger than the colony, bigger than anything she could imagine, and if she was not careful, that truth might change her life forever. The first sign the morning after the storm. The colony felt different. People whispered about Kale. Some said he was blessed by luck. Others claimed he had secret training from the old wars. But no one dared to ask him directly. He kept working at the scrapyard as if nothing unusual had happened, as if saving the colony's shield had been a small task. Only Lyra could not forget what she had seen, the storm bending, the glow in his hand, the whispering language that had no place in her world. Every memory pressed against her mind, demanding answers. She followed him again that day. But Cale was careful. He never stayed in one place too long. He moved with the calm patience of a man who had been hunted before. For 3 days, nothing strange happened. Cale worked. The colony returned to its rhythm. The storm became a story told in the tavern, growing more dramatic with each telling. And then the raiders came. They arrived in the middle of the night, their ships falling like shadows from the sky. The alarms screamed across the colony. Families rushed to the bunkers. Soldiers ran to the gates. Raiders were no strangers to frontier life. They came for fuel, supplies, and sometimes for worse. They showed no mercy to the weak. Lyra was among those who fled toward the shelters. But she could not stop glancing back. Her eyes searched for Cale. She spotted him near the scrapyard, standing calmly while others ran. His face was unreadable. His shoulders were still, as if the chaos around him did not matter. The raiders stormed the gates. Blasters fired. The colony guards fell back. Panic spread like fire. In the distance, Lyra saw Cale walking, not running, walking straight toward the fight. A raider fired at him. The bolt should have struck him down, but the moment it touched Cale's presence, it fizzled into nothing, like a spark swallowed by air. Cale raised one hand, and suddenly every weapon in the raiders' hands locked up. Their rifles shook, lights flickered. Then they all went silent. The raiders shouted in confusion. They hit their guns, tried to fire again, but nothing worked. Their ships above the colony sparked and drifted, engines dying in the air. One by one, they fell to the ground like broken toys. Lyra's heart pounded. She was hidden in the shadows of the shelter, but her eyes never left him. The entire battle seemed to bow around Cale's presence. The raiders cursed, retreating, throwing knives and blades when their guns failed. But Cale moved like water, his steps smooth, his arms quick. Every blade missed, every strike failed. It was as if the universe itself bent to shield him. The colonists began to cheer, thinking the raiders had lost their luck. They shouted about miracles, about faulty weapons, about the gods protecting their home. But Lyra knew. She had seen Cale's calm face, the way his eyes glowed faintly again, the way his hand controlled the storm of machines. This was no luck. When the raiders fled back to the desert, dragging their broken weapons and damaged ships, the colony celebrated. They clapped Cale on the back. They thanked him, calling him a hero. But Cale said nothing. He gave no speech, no smile. He simply turned and walked back to the scrapyard, his expression heavy. Lyra followed him again. She found him sitting alone near the old machines, his hands covered in grease, his eyes staring at the ground. He looked less like a hero and more like a man burdened with something he could not share. "You stopped them," she said, stepping closer. Her voice trembled. "You saved everyone. You are not normal, are you?" Cale's head lifted slowly. His eyes met hers, sharp, almost dangerous. For a long moment he said nothing. The silence pressed on her chest. Finally, he spoke, his voice low. "Some truths are better left unknown." "Lyra," she shook her head. "No, I saw you. I saw what you did. I saw what you are. I won't stay silent." "Tell me." Cale looked away. His hands tightened into fists. He whispered, "If I tell you, you will never see me the same again. And if others learn, they will fear me, or worse, they will hunt me." Lyra stepped closer. Her curiosity burned brighter than her fear. "Then let them hunt. I want to know." For a moment, Cale almost smiled, but there was no joy in it, only sadness. "I was once a soldier," he said. "Not in the wars, you know, but in a hidden war. A war humans were not meant to fight. We fought creatures that should not exist. enemies that saw us as less than dust. And I survived, not because of luck, but because of what I became. Lyra's breath caught. What you became? Kale nodded slowly. His eyes glowed faintly again. I am human, Lyra, but I carry something inside me. Something that makes me stronger, faster, harder to kill, a gift or a curse. Depending on how you see it, her mind raced. She had heard tales of experiments, soldiers enhanced beyond human limits. But those were only stories told around firelight, legends meant to frighten children. Yet here he stood, the living proof. Why are you here then? She asked softly, why hide? In a place like this? Kale's gaze turned to the stars. Because if my enemies ever return, they will come for me first, and if they find me, this colony will be nothing but ashes. Lyra shivered. His words felt too heavy, too real. The storm, the raiders, the glowing eyes, suddenly it all made sense. Kale was not just a man hiding in a scrapyard. He was a weapon, a survivor of a war no one else even remembered. But deep inside, she also felt something else, a spark of hope. If Kale could fight such battles, if he could stand against enemies greater than raiders, maybe humanity was not as fragile as everyone believed. Maybe humans had power enough to rise against anything. Kale stood slowly, his shadow long against the scrapyard lights. Stay away from me, Lyra, he said quietly. The closer you are, the more danger will follow you. But Lyra only shook her head. No, Kale, I will not stay away, because you are not just a stranger anymore. You are the first sign that humans are stronger than anyone thinks. Kale's eyes lingered on her. A storm of conflict swirled inside them. He wanted to push her away. But he also knew she had already stepped too far into his secret. She would not turn back now, and far away, beyond the stars, something moved. Something ancient and hungry. A signal pulsed in the darkness. A hunter had heard Kale's power awaken. And he was coming. The secret past the colony of Arvin III had returned to uneasy peace. The raiders were gone, the shields repaired, and people spoke with relief. But whispers about Kale spread through every corner. Some called him a hero, others a danger. Nobody understood what had really happened that night. Only Lyra knew the truth, or at least part of it. She had seen Kale's eyes glow. She had seen the storm bend and the weapons fail. She had heard him admit to a hidden war, and to a power no normal human could carry. And yet, she knew he was still holding back. His silence was heavy with secrets. Lyra's curiosity grew into obsession. She could not sleep. She could not think of anything else. She wanted to know who Kale really was, what war he had fought, and why he had chosen this forgotten colony to hide. One evening, she found him sitting alone in the scrapyard. The orange light of sunset painted long shadows across the rusting machines. He was sharpening a blade, an old weapon of steel, far too simple for a man who could bend storms and break ships. His hands moved with steady precision, every stroke slow and deliberate. You don't belong here, Lyra said softly, stepping closer. Kale did not look up. Neither do you, he answered. Your eyes are always searching the horizon. This colony is too small for you. She frowned. Maybe, but at least I don't pretend to be someone I'm not. This time he did look at her. His eyes sharp, his jaw tight. For a moment, silence hung between them like a blade. Then he sighed, placing the weapon aside. You want to know more, don't you? Lyra nodded quickly. Yes, I want to understand. Kale leaned back against the old machine, his face half in shadow. If I tell you, you may regret it. You may even fear me. I won't, Lyra whispered. I've already seen enough. Not to fear you. His gaze lingered on her, searching, measuring. Finally, he spoke. A long time ago, before this colony even existed, Earth fought a war it never told its people about. It was not against raiders or rebels. It was against something far worse, an enemy that came from beyond human space. Lyra's eyes widened. She leaned closer. Aliens? Kale nodded slowly. Yes, but not the kind you imagine. They were not explorers or traders. They were harvesters. They saw humans as resources, not equals. They wanted our worlds, our skies, our very blood. Lyra's stomach tightened. She had heard tales of alien wars, but they were always wrapped in legend, spoken of as half-truths. Yet the way Kale said it, quiet and heavy, left no doubt. I was part of a program, Kale continued, his voice low. A project created in secret, to make soldiers who could fight back. We were trained, broken, and rebuilt. They changed us, enhanced us, gave us power beyond human limits. We became weapons. Lyra felt a chill. And you were one of them. Yes, Kale said, his eyes glowing faintly in the fading light. I was one of the last. Many of us died in training, many more in battle. But we did not stop the enemy, not truly. We only bought humanity time. The war ended in shadows, covered up. The enemy was pushed back, but not destroyed. They are still out there, waiting, watching. He paused, his jaw tight, his hand clenched into a fist. I lost everything in that war, friends, family, a life I might have had. And when it was over, I could not return to normal life. How could I? I am not normal anymore. I am something else. For the first time, Lyra saw pain in his eyes, not just strength, but deep scars. Is that why you hide here? She asked softly. Kale nodded. Yes, I thought if I disappeared, if I became just another man on a forgotten colony, they would never find me. The enemy would never sense me. And maybe I could live quietly. But the storm, the raiders, I fear. I have awakened something. My presence is no longer hidden. Lyra's chest tightened. You mean they could come here? Kale's silence was answer enough. She stepped closer, almost without thinking. Then you cannot hide anymore, Kale. You said you fought them once. You can fight them again. He looked at her with sorrow. I am only one man, Lyra, one weapon. Humanity was never meant to win alone. But you did. She whispered fiercely. You survived when no one else could. That means something. It has to. For a long moment, neither spoke. The wind moved through the scrapyard, carrying the smell of oil and rust. Kale's expression shifted, as if torn between despair and duty. Finally he whispered, if they come, this colony will be the first to fall, and I cannot let that happen. Lyra's heart pounded. Then let me help you. Kale's eyes hardened. No, Lyra, you don't understand. If you stand with me, you become a target too. They will come for you. They will come for anyone near me. I don't care, she said firmly. I'd rather face the truth than live in ignorance. I'd rather fight than hide. Kale stared at her for a long moment. His eyes burned faintly again, a storm of conflict inside them. Then at last he gave a slow nod. Very well, I will tell you everything. But once you know, there is no going back. Lyra swallowed, her curiosity now mixed with fear, but she nodded, ready to hear. Kale leaned closer, his voice dropping low. The war never ended, Lyra. Humanity thinks it is safe, but that is a lie. The enemy is waiting, hidden in the dark. They hunt survivors like me, because we are the only proof that humans can resist them. And now, because of what I did during the raid, they will know I am here. Lyra's blood ran cold. How do you know? Kale's gaze turned to the stars. His voice was almost a whisper. Because when I used my power, I felt it echo across the void. And someone answered. Her breath caught. Answered? Kale nodded. Yes, a signal, faint but real. Someone out there heard me, and now they are coming. Lyra's heart raced. The scrapyard around her suddenly felt too small, too fragile, the colony too unprotected. She realized Kale's secret was not just about his past, it was about their future. Kale's voice grew colder. This was why I never wanted to reveal myself, why I tried to stay hidden. Now, because of me, danger will come to this world. Lyra's hands shook, but her eyes burned with determination. Then we'll face it, Kale. You're not alone anymore. He looked at her, surprised, as if her words carried more strength than he expected. Slowly, a small, sad smile touched his lips. You remind me of someone I once knew. The night deepened around them. The stars shone bright, and in the far distance, beyond human eyes, something stirred in the darkness. A ship moved silently through the void, hunting, following the echo of Kale's power. The hunter had heard, and he was coming. Asterisk. The hunter arrives. The colony of Arvin 3 slept beneath the stars. But Kale did not sleep. He stood on the ridge above the scrapyard, eyes fixed on the endless sky. He had felt the signal echo. He had felt the answer return, and he knew it was only a matter of time. The silence of night was broken by a deep vibration. At first it was faint, like the growl of a distant storm. Then the ground trembled. Lights flickered in the colony streets. People woke in fear. Children cried. Dogs barked wildly, their instincts warning them before human eyes could see. Lyra was among the first to run outside. She looked up and froze. A shape descended from the heavens, black against the moons, a ship sleek, sharp, alive with a pale green glow. It was not like any raider vessel she had seen. It was something older, colder, designed for one purpose only. The ship landed just beyond the colony walls. Dust rose, lights burned. The air itself seemed to tighten, as if the world was holding its breath. The gates creaked as a group of armed colonists ran forward, rifles trembling in their hands. Their voices shook as they shouted warnings, demanding the stranger leave. But before they could fire, the ship opened. A figure stepped out, tall and armored. His body shimmered with silver plates that moved like liquid over muscle. His head was crowned with jagged horns of bone. His eyes glowed like burning coals. He carried no weapon, but his presence was worse than any gun. He was the weapon. Whispers spread quickly. The colonists stepped back in fear. Some screamed. Some prayed, but the hunter ignored them all. His gaze moved slowly across the colony until it locked on Kale. "You," the alien said, his voice like iron scraping stone. "I have found you." Kale did not move. He stood calm on the ridge, his face unreadable. Lyra's heart pounded as she looked from the alien to Kale. "He knows you," she whispered. "He came for you." The hunter took a slow step forward. The ground cracked beneath his weight. His voice boomed across the colony. "Kale of Earth, the last human weapon. You cannot hide, you cannot run. Your kind should have died long ago. But you remain, and I will end you." Gasps echoed from the colonists. The words struck like thunder. People stared at Kale with new fear. Some backed away, others whispered angrily. "A weapon," they repeated. "He is not human. He is a weapon." Kale finally spoke. His voice was steady, low, carrying across the wind. "Leave this place. This colony is not your battlefield." The hunter's lips twisted into something like a smile. Cruel and sharp. "It is already a battlefield. Everywhere you walk becomes one. Your power calls to us, Kale. Your existence is an insult. You will die, and these humans will watch as their protector falls." The colonists panicked. Some ran to shelters. Others raised rifles, but their hands shook too much to aim. The fear in the air was heavy, choking. Lyra stepped closer to Kale, her voice urgent. "You can't let him take you. Kale, you can't." Kale looked at her. His eyes glowed faintly. "Stay behind me, Lyra." The hunter's body shifted. His armor moved like living metal, growing sharper, taller. His claws gleamed in the moonlight. He spread his arms wide, and energy sparked across his chest. He was preparing to strike. Then he moved, faster than human eyes could follow. In a blur of silver and fire, he leapt toward Kale. Kale raised one hand. His body flared with a faint golden light. The air rippled, and the hunter was thrown back mid-leap, crashing into the ground. Dust exploded around him. The colony gasped in shock, but the hunter only laughed. A deep, cruel sound. "Yes," he said, rising from the dust. "That is the power I came for. Show me more, Kale. Show me what it means to be human." Kale's jaw tightened. He stepped forward slowly. "You should have left me alone." The colonists backed away, clearing the streets, their eyes wide, some filled with awe, others with fear. They whispered to each other. Kale was no ordinary man, no drifter. He was something far greater. The hunter struck again, this time with claws of energy, slicing through the air. Kale dodged, moving with speed no normal man could match. His fist struck the hunter's chest. A shockwave rattled through the colony walls. Sparks flew. The hunter staggered back. His armor dented. For the first time, the alien's cruel smile faded. His eyes narrowed. "Stronger than I expected," he growled. "But strength will not save you." He raised both arms, and a pulse of green energy shot outward. Lights across the colony flickered. Generators shut down. Machines sparked and died. The shields collapsed, leaving the settlement open. People screamed, running in panic. The hunter's laughter echoed through the night. "See, Kale, without me lifting a blade, your precious humans fall apart. They are weak, helpless. They are nothing." Kale's face darkened. His golden light grew brighter. Burning against the green, his voice thundered across the colony. "They are not nothing. They are human." Lyra's heart pounded. She could feel the ground trembling beneath Kale's power. His body glowed brighter, his eyes burning like fire. For the first time, she saw him not as a drifter or a stranger, but as something greater, a symbol. The hunter charged again. Their clash shook the ground. Dust and sparks filled the air. Every blow was like thunder. Every strike lit the night. The colonists watched in silence, too stunned to move. Some whispered prayers. Others shouted Kale's name. Hope and fear battled in their hearts. Finally, Kale pushed the hunter back with a burst of force that shattered the ground. The alien slid across the dirt. His armor cracked. His eyes burned with fury. "This is not the end," the hunter roared. His body shimmered, reforming its wounds. "I will break you, Kale. I will break all of you." Kale stood tall, his glow steady. His voice calm but unyielding. "You will try." The hunter's ship pulsed with energy. Weapons powering up. The air grew hot, charged with deadly light. The alien raised his arms high, summoning his final strike, a blast strong enough to level the entire colony. Lyra gasped. "Kale, he'll destroy everything." Kale's eyes locked on the hunter. His glow flared brighter, brighter still. His voice thundered. "Then I will show you the true power of humanity." The ground shook, the air burned, light poured from Kale like a star. And for the first time, the hunter hesitated. His cruel smile faltered. Cliffhanger. The battle for the colony had only just begun. Asterisk battle for the colony. The colony of Arvin III shook under the weight of fear. The hunter stood like a shadow of death. His armor cracked but still glowing with power. Behind him, his ship pulsed with green light, its weapons charging. The air itself hummed, alive with danger. Kale stood in front of the colonists, his body glowing faintly gold, his shoulders steady, his eyes burning with a fire that seemed both human and more than human. He looked not like a drifter now, not like a worker of the scrapyard, but like a warrior from a forgotten war. Lyra clung to the edge of the barricade. Her chest rose and fell quickly. Her eyes never left Kale. Fear pressed against her. But so did something stronger, hope. The hunter raised one clawed hand. His voice thundered across the colony. "I will burn this place to ash. Your machines, your walls, your people, all of it will be dust. And when the fire clears, Kale, only you will remain. You will kneel before me." Broken. His ship lit up, energy gathering at its cannons. A beam of green light began to form, crackling, roaring, powerful enough to tear through stone and steel alike. The colonists screamed. Some ran for the bunkers. Others fell to their knees in despair. The guards lifted their rifles. But deep down they knew their weapons were useless. Their bullets could not scratch a monster like this. But Kale did not move away. He stepped forward. His golden light grew brighter, spreading across the ground like waves. He raised both hands, his voice low but strong. "Not while I breathe," the hunter laughed, a cruel sound. "Then breathe your last." The beam fired. It roared across the night, a river of green flame rushing straight toward the colony. The heat seared the air, roofs melted, walls cracked. The colonists cried out, bracing for death. But Kale's light exploded outward. A shield of gold rose around him. The beam slammed into it, shaking the ground. The sound was like thunder tearing the sky. Sparks flew, the air bent. For a moment it seemed Cale would break, his body trembling under the force. Then, with a cry that echoed across the colony, Cale pushed forward. His light swallowed the beam, bent it, and tore it apart. The green fire shattered into sparks that rained harmlessly onto the sand. The colonists gasped, their fear turned into awe. They had never seen such power, not from a man, not from anyone. The hunter's smile faded, his voice grew sharp. So, the weapon still remembers how to fight. He leapt forward, claws glowing, striking at Cale with brutal speed. Cale met him head-on. Their clash shook the earth, metal screamed. Light flashed, each strike was a storm, each movement fast as lightning. The colony became their battlefield. Houses collapsed under the shockwaves, windows shattered, sand rose in clouds. Still the colonists did not run. They watched, torn between fear and wonder. Lyra's heart pounded, every strike Cale landed, every blow he took. She felt it in her chest. She whispered under her breath, "You can do this, Cale. You can win." The hunter grabbed Cale, hurling him into the scrapyard. Machines exploded in sparks. Steel bent like paper. Cale rose from the wreckage, his glow brighter, his eyes burning. "You cannot protect them," the hunter sneered. "You are one man. You will fall." Cale's voice was steady. "I am one human, and that is enough." With a roar, he charged, his fists struck like meteors. The hunter staggered, armor cracking. He howled in rage, striking back. The battle raged across the colony, a storm of light and shadow. But then the hunter's ship rose into the air, its weapons glowing again, ready to fire another blast. The colonists screamed. This time the target was not Cale, it was the bunkers where families hid. Cale saw it. His eyes widened. He knew he could not blot both the hunter and the ship at once. His body tensed, his power flared. He prepared to sacrifice himself. But then, something unexpected happened. The colonists, the very people who had feared him, raised their voices. "Fight, Cale." They shouted, "We are with you." A group of guards fired their rifles at the ship. The bullets bounced harmlessly off. But their courage mattered. Farmers threw tools, children cried Cale's name. For the first time, Cale felt the colony standing with him. The hunter growled, "Fools, they think you can save them. But you cannot." Cale's glow erupted, brighter than ever. His body blazed like a star. He leapt into the air, striking the ship with a blast of golden force. The cannons shattered. Explosions ripped through the hull. The ship crashed into the desert, burning. The colonists cheered, hope flooding their voices. But the hunter roared in fury. His claws struck Cale's chest, throwing him back. Blood stained his shirt. His light flickered. Lyra screamed, "Cale!" She ran forward without thinking, rushing to his side. The hunter's shadow loomed over them both, his claws raised for the final strike. Cale struggled to his feet, his voice rough, his body weak, but his eyes still burned. "I will not let you touch them," the hunter snarled. "Then die with them." Cale's glow returned, brighter, fiercer. His whole body burned with golden fire. His voice thundered across the colony. "I am human. That is my power." He struck. His fist crashed into the hunter's chest. The ground split. The sky shook. The alien's armor shattered. His body thrown back, he roared in pain, the first sound of true fear in his voice. The colonists cried out in joy. But Cale did not smile. His glow dimmed, his shoulders heavy. He knew the battle was not over. The hunter staggered to his feet, blood seeping from his wounds, his voice a growl. "You are stronger than I thought. But this is only the beginning. More will come. They will hear. They will find you, and then humanity will burn." His body shimmered, dissolving into light in a flash. He was gone, vanished into the night. Silence fell over the colony, broken only by the crackle of burning metal. Lyra knelt beside Cale, tears in her eyes. "You saved us," she whispered. Kale looked at her, his face pale, his voice low. "No, Lyra, this was only the first battle. The war is coming." And above them, high in the darkness of space, signals pulsed, carried far, carried wide. Other hunters had heard, and they were on their way. The true power. The night after the battle was not a night of rest. The colony burned in pieces, roofs torn away, machines shattered, families huddled together, whispering in fear. Some cheered Kale as their savior, but others looked at him with doubt. His power had saved them, yes, but his power had also brought the hunter. Kale sat alone on the ridge, his body still aching from the wounds, his shirt torn, his blood staining the sand. The glow that had burned so brightly during the fight now flickered faintly. As if even his light could die, Lyra found him there. She climbed the ridge quietly, carrying a lantern, her face pale, her hands trembling, but her eyes steady. "You shouldn't be alone," she whispered. Kale did not look at her. His gaze remained fixed on the stars. "I should always be alone, Lyra. That is the only way to keep others safe." She shook her head, sitting beside him. "No, you saved them. You saved all of us without you. The colony would already be ashes." Kale's jaw tightened. His voice was low, heavy with guilt. "Because of me, the hunter came. Because of me, more will come. This was not the end. It was the beginning." Before Lyra could answer, the ground trembled. The air filled with a strange pulse, a deep vibration that made the lantern in her hands shake. Kale rose to his feet instantly, his eyes narrowing. From the desert horizon, lights appeared. Not one, but three ships, each larger than the hunters. Their engines roared like storms. Their shadows swallowed the sky. The colony screamed in panic once more. Sirens wailed. Families rushed into bunkers. Soldiers grabbed weapons they knew would not work. Fear spread like wildfire. Lyra looked at Kale, her voice breaking. "3 of them, Kale. How can you fight 3? Kale's face hardened. His eyes glowed faintly again. "I don't know," he admitted, "but I have to try." The ships landed outside the colony walls. Their doors opened, and from them stepped 3 hunters, each different in shape and armor, but each carrying the same cruel fire in their eyes. They moved with the confidence of predators. The first hunter spoke, his voice deep and mocking. "Kale of Earth, the last weapon, you should not have survived this long. Tonight we will end your story." The second hunter raised his claws. "Your light will be extinguished." The third tilted his head, his voice colder than the others. "But first, we will break what you protect. We will burn your humans before your eyes." The colonists screamed, pressing against the bunkers. The guards tried to form a line, but their hands shook. The hunters ignored them, their eyes locked only on Kale. Lyra grabbed his arm, her voice desperate. "Kale, you can't do this alone, you'll die." Kale looked at her. His glow grew brighter. "If I fall, then at least I fall standing. Humanity must never kneel." The hunters attacked. Their speed was inhuman, their claws tearing through the ground. Kale met them head on. His golden light flared. The clash was like thunder. Sparks filled the sky. Dust rose in storms. Kale struck the first hunter, sending him crashing into a wall, but the second slashed across his chest. Blood sprayed. Kale gritted his teeth, his glow flickering. The third leapt high, striking from above. Kale caught his claws with both hands. The impact shook the ground. The colonists watched, helpless. Every blow Kale gave was met with 2 in return. His body bled. His light dimmed. He was strong. But 3 hunters were too many. Lyra cried out, "Kale!" Her voice cracked with fear. "You can't hold them." Kale stumbled, falling to one knee. The hunters circled him, their cruel laughter echoing. The first hunter sneered. "So this is the last human weapon, a broken tool, a dying ember." The second raised his claws. "End him." And then it happened. Kale's body trembled. His glow flickered wildly, his breath heavy. For a moment, it seemed he would fall, but then his eyes burned brighter, brighter than ever before. His voice thundered across the colony. No, I will not end here. I will not fall. I am human, and I will rise. His glow erupted, not faint, not flickering, but blazing. His whole body shone like a star. Golden fire poured from him. Spreading across the ground, the hunters staggered back, shielding their eyes. The colonists gasped. The light bathed them, warm, alive, filling them with strength. Even Lyra felt her fear melt. Replaced with awe, Cale rose to his feet, his wounds closed, his blood burned away. His voice shook the night. You call me a weapon, but you are wrong. I am not a tool. I am not a curse. I am the will of humanity, the will that never breaks. Moved, faster than light, his fist struck the first hunter. Armor shattered. The alien screamed, falling lifeless to the sand. The second slashed at him, but Cale caught the claws. His hands burned with golden fire. He crushed the weapon like glass. His glow surged, and the second hunter exploded into dust. The third tried to run, but Cale's eyes burned into him. You came to destroy, but tonight you will carry a message. He struck, not killing, but marking. His glow seared across the alien's armor, leaving deep scars. Tell them, Cale thundered. Tell them humanity will not fall. Tell them humanity will fight. The third hunter fled, his body broken. Disappearing into the night, the battlefield grew silent. The colonists stood in awe. Their fear gone, their eyes wide with hope. Cale's glow dimmed, his shoulders heavy, his body trembling. He fell to one knee again. Lyra rushed to him, her hands on his arms. Cale, you did it. You won. Cale's eyes met hers, his voice faint but steady. No, Lyra, this was not victory. This was a warning. Now they know. Now they will come. Not just hunters, but armies. The colonists whispered to each other, their eyes filled with both awe and fear. Cale was no longer just a stranger. No. Longer just a drifter. He was something greater, something terrifying, something human and yet beyond human. Lyra held him close, her voice strong. Then let them come, Cale. You showed us what humans can do. You showed us what we really are. We are not weak, not helpless. We will fight with you. Cale looked at her, his eyes softening. For the first time, a small true smile touched his lips. Then maybe, he whispered, maybe humanity still has a chance. Above them, in the vast darkness of space, signals raced. Hunters called out. Armies stirred. The enemy had heard. And the war that Cale had feared was now moving closer. But, for the first time, he was not alone. The legacy of humans, the colony of Arvin III, did not sleep that night. The fires were put out, the bunkers opened, and families stepped into the open air. Their eyes turned again and again to the ridge where Cale stood. His glow had faded, his body weak, but the memory of what they had seen burned in every heart. A single man had stood against hunters that could crush armies. A single man had fought like a storm, glowing with light. Unbroken, even when the night itself seemed ready to end them all. Some called him savior, some called him monster, but no one could deny what he had become. Lyra stayed at his side. She refused to leave him even when the healers begged her to rest. She held his hand, her voice steady even when her heart trembled. You are not alone anymore, Cale. Not now, not ever. Cale's eyes opened slowly. His voice was faint, but each word carried weight. The hunters will return. This was not their full strength. More will come. They will not stop until I fall. And we will not stop either, Lyra said firmly. Her eyes glowed not with power, but with determination. You showed us something tonight. You showed us what it means to fight, not as weapons, but as humans. That is our strength, Cale. That is yours, too. For the first time since the war he had fled, Cale felt something stir inside him. Not just the golden fire that burned in his body, but a warmth deeper than that, a bond, a connection he had. Always believed his power isolated him, but now he realized it could unite them. The next morning, the colony gathered. Farmers, children, guards, engineers, all stood together in the square, their voices low, their faces serious. They looked at Cale not with fear, but with expectation. An elder stepped forward, his hands trembling as he held a broken rifle. "Kale," he said, his voice rough. "We were weak. We depended on walls and machines that broke when tested. But you showed us we can fight. We are asking you to teach us, not just to protect us, but to make us stronger." Kale stared at them. For years he had run from this, run from the weight of being more than human. He wanted only to disappear, to live quietly, unseen. But now he understood something new, something simple, if he carried this power alone, it would always destroy him. But if he carried it with others, if he shared what humanity truly was, it could become more than survival. It could become legacy. He nodded slowly, his voice steady though soft. "Then I will teach you not how to be like me, but how to be what you already are. Humans are not weak. You are not fragile. You endure, you adapt, you rise. That is the true power." The colonists cheered. Their voices filled the sky. For the first time, they did not look at Kale with fear. They looked at him as a leader, as a symbol. Lyra stood beside him. Smiling through her exhaustion, she whispered, "See, you are not a stranger anymore. You are hope." Kale looked at her, his eyes softening. "Hope is dangerous," he murmured. "Hope is human," she answered. Days passed, and the colony began to change. The people trained. They built stronger defenses, not just with machines, but with courage. They learned from Kale not how to glow with fire, but how to stand when fear pressed on their hearts, how to face the darkness with unbroken will. Word spread beyond Arvin 3. Travelers carried stories. Whispers reached other colonies. A name began to grow: Kale of Earth, the last human weapon. The man who stood against hunters. But Kale refused the name of weapon. When children asked who he was, he bent down and said, "I am human, and so are you. That is enough." Still at night, when the moons rose, Kale stood on the ridge, his eyes fixed on the stars. He knew this peace was fragile. He knew the hunters would not stop. He knew armies would come. But now, he no longer faced it alone. One evening, Lyra joined him, as she often did. The wind carried the smell of oil and soil. The colony below buzzed with new life. She looked at him and asked, "Do you ever regret it, Kale, having this power, being what you are?" Kale was silent for a long moment, his golden eyes reflecting the stars. Then he whispered, "Yes, I regret the pain, I regret the loss. But no, I do not regret surviving, because survival is human. And if I must carry this power to remind others of that, then I will carry it, until the stars themselves die." Lyra's heart swelled with pride and sorrow. She whispered back, "Then you are not just Kale of Earth. You are Kale of humanity, far above in the silent black." Signals raced faster than light. The hunter's message spread. Armies stirred, weapons forged. The enemy was coming, stronger, greater, hungrier. But Kale was ready. And so was humanity. Because legacy is not born in silence, it is born in fire, in courage, in the will to rise when everything falls. Kale knew this truth now, and so did Lyra, and so did the colony of Arvin 3. The story of the last human weapon was no longer about one man hiding in a scrapyard. It was about all humans standing together, unbroken. Kale's glow flared once more, not in battle, but in promise. His voice low, steady, unyielding. "Let them come, humanity will rise, and somewhere beyond the stars." The enemy shivered, for they had seen human strength before, but never like this.